A new preview online is coming next weekend. Astartes has been officially endorsed by Games Workshop, and there's quite an interesting issue of White Dwarf coming with a whole bunch of free games in. Today we're just talking through a few bits of Warhammer 40k news from across this week. Hello and welcome back to Warspecs Tactics for a bit of a news roundup. Here we have just a bunch of things that I thought didn't really need an entire video all to themselves, but nevertheless are kind of interesting, and I wanted to share them with you guys and get your thoughts and reactions. We'll start with the preview and the news of new heavy intercessors, then talk about that White Dwarf, and finish up with a few thoughts on Astartes. So first up, that new preview is going to be on Saturday the 20th of March. It's called Faith and Damnation, and it's going to be revealing some new models and rules for Warhammer 40k, Age of Sigmar, Necromunda, and Warhammer Underworlds. Faith and Damnation don't give us all that much to go on. That really could apply to quite a lot throughout all of those systems. But for Warhammer 40k, Faith certainly implies it might be something to do with the Sisters of Battle, which we know are getting a fairly major release with that Palatine and that new Warsuit. As you can see from the teased image on the right, it does seem that we're finally seeing the identity of that Skitarii character that's been teased for a while now. It looks like some sort of Skitarii Prime or something to lead your Rangers and Vanguard into battle for Admech. Will certainly be interesting to see him, plus any other new miniatures. I'm afraid it's not necessarily the best timing for me. I'll certainly make the video as soon as it can, but it might be coming out the next morning to cover what's been going on in it. In any case, really looking forward to finding out. Always good to see some new stuff. Also from Warhammer Community, we know that the Heavy Intercessors and Flayed ones are coming out in May. I don't believe that they've given an exact date in May, so it could be right at the end for all we know. But it's quite nice of them to actually give us a release date for these guys, rather than just leaving us speculating. It now means that people can either choose whether or not they want to get access to these models via buying them online, or buying that Kill Team Pariah Nexus box, or whether they can wait out a couple of months and pick them up in May. I imagine for anyone who wants quite a lot of them, it is quite annoying to have them limited to this long. Around about 3 months after the Pariah Nexus box comes out, I can imagine both Necron players and particularly Deathwatch players will really be looking forward to getting their hands on these miniatures. As of yet, there's no word on the Chronomancer or the Space Marine Captain. I'd imagine that they're probably going to be released alongside them, but they haven't officially confirmed that yet. I think these miniatures might be some of the ones that we've seen previewed for the longest time before they actually got releases. I think by the time we get to May, it'll have been around about 8 months since they were originally teased on Warhammer Community. Next, I just thought I'd mention that the White Dwarf next month looks particularly good. If you're into playing Warhammer PC games or want to try, it looks like there'll be a code on Steam, and you can have 12 games downloaded to your account for no additional cost besides the cost of the magazine. They do look like there are a fair few recognisable titles in there. There's the original Dawn of War game, which I must admit is a really fun play if you've not played it before. Obviously it's a bit dated now, but I still think that the campaign mode for it is really quite fun and worth a play. There's also Space Marine, the third-person action game, and Vermintide 2 for Warhammer Fantasy, amongst really quite a lot of other titles. For 40k, there's also that Index Exorcist that we've heard teased, yet another mini supplement to play a different chapter of Space Marines with. I'll be covering that on the channel whenever we get news about it. In any case though, really quite a good incentive to pick up the magazine. Even if you only played 1 or 2 of the games, it's really quite a good deal on the amount of entertainment that you'd get for your money. Finally, I just wanted to mention the very interesting Astartes situation, where it seems that Astartes and a bunch of other fan-made animations have become part of Games Workshop under their Warhammer Animations umbrella. I'm sure the Astartes animation doesn't need any introduction. In my personal opinion, it is the single best 40k animation I've ever seen. You've got to love the sheer speed and brutality of those Space Marines slaughtering their way through the heretics. And Mr. Syama Peterson's YouTube channel has become insanely popular, 900,000 subs, 33 million views, and almost 10,000 backers on Patreon hungry for more. It does seem that there have been several months of radio silence, and 2 big announcements, one on the Warhammer Community page, which I'm sure most people have seen by now, and one on the Astartes YouTube channel itself. Basically, his animations are going to be moving on to the Warhammer page. A big thank you to all of his supporters, and that he's hard at work on the next project, partnering with Games Workshop. I found it really quite interesting that his videos were actually taken down from YouTube. That insanely popular Astartes channel now only has this one announcement video on it now, and besides another person who seems to have taken the videos and uploaded them on a different channel, probably without the creator's knowledge, you can't watch them on YouTube anymore in their original form. That combined video has been uploaded to Warhammer Community, and rather than being in individual chunks anymore, it's all in one long combined video, and there have been a couple of changes. I understand that it's not quite as HD as it was before. It's dropped down to 720 resolution, and quite a bit of the audio, both in terms of the battle sounds and the music behind it, have been changed, which is almost certainly due to being able to license certain bits of music, and perhaps the original creator taking things from movies or video games. Basically, if it's been endorsed as an official Games Workshop thing, they're not going to want to have the chance of being sued if someone does try to turn their targets on them if the creator has made use of some music and sound effects that they didn't technically have rights to. It does seem to have come with some mixed feeling, to be honest. Honestly, I don't think that the new upload is really any lower quality than the original. I think it's more the fact that it's just a little bit different, and it kind of feels wrong to change something that was quite as good as the Astartes animations. It will be quite interesting to see what the future holds for these Warhammer animation projects. Honestly, I suspect with Games Workshop's support and any assets that they can give him, it might well increase the speed at which Astartes videos are made, and I'm sure that pretty much the entire internet is eagerly waiting for more. I strongly suspect that Games Workshop won't want to impede his creativity in any way. I know some people have been voicing that concern, but I just don't think it makes sense for them to do so. Those short films have arguably been one of the single best adverts for Warhammer 40k that it's ever had, and Games Workshop really would shoot themselves in the foot if they made the quality worse. Nevertheless, I think some people will be a bit unhappy about the move. It's no longer on YouTube where it got famous and popular. I can't see quite as many people just stumbling across it tucked away on the Warhammer Animations site as they would on YouTube, which might not necessarily help the work be seen unless Games Workshop do put it on their official YouTube channel. I imagine potentially the people who backed him might be a little bit miffed. It doesn't look like they got all that much warning about it, and there's arguably less reason to back someone if they are now having a salary paid by Games Workshop. I must admit the nosy part of me will be really interested in what sort of discussion went on behind closed doors. Games Workshop must have offered this guy a ton of money seeing as he was making loads and loads from the Patreon page, but also had to have had the tricky conversation of saying that a lot of the audio in your original video needs to be replaced. I certainly hope that it's being well compensated anyway, and hopefully this means that the Astartes project will keep on going even quicker. Again, it'll be interesting to see exactly how this is released, hopefully on the official Warhammer YouTube channel, although the Warhammer Community article this week did say that you might want to set up a My Warhammer account to access all of these animations. I certainly hope that they're easy to access and aren't locked behind some sort of paywall where people are going to struggle to see them. Again, I strongly suspect that Games Workshop won't go this way. After all, what's the point in having amazing animations for Warhammer that are basically just adverts in themselves if you don't give anyone the chance to look at them? Anyway, I guess only time will tell. So anyway, hope you've enjoyed a brief summary of some of the things that I've been interested in this week. As always, I look forward to reading your comments down in the video description, and feel free to subscribe to Auspex Tactics if you'd like to see more like this. Finally, if you'd like to help support the channel and keep it going, I'd just like to mention that I have an Element Games affiliate link which you can find down in the video description. If you live in the UK, Element Games is a discount retailer that sells Games Workshop's products, gives a decent discount, and if you order through them after clicking through the link in the video description, a small amount of money goes to help support Auspex Tactics without costing you any more whatsoever. Can be a really good way to help the channel if you were thinking about ordering in some models anyway. For people in the USA and Canada, I also have an Amazon link again down in the video description. That one works in exactly the same way. Anything bought after clicking that does give the channel a little bit of money. In any case, a massive thank you for listening, and I'll hope to see you guys next time.